Alright, rolling. Alright, Dante. What was your main motivation applying to colleges?
Besides the actual RTF program, that's what I determined. That's what I wanted to do. Mainly funds, to be quite honest with you. Didn't really want my parents to pay for too much because I guess I wasn't smart enough to have a scholarship, and I did not personally have the funds for that. I don't think any of us really have the funds for that, especially at our day and age, unless you have a scholarship or somehow balling job already straight out of high school. But I would mainly say that it was that, and plus it was just dorming that would have costed way too much money. So I just decided I need to stay local. So that's why I started at Gloucester County College and then worked my way towards the communications associate's degree there, and then looked towards Rowan because they were the only one that had a radio, television, and film program in this state. So I figured that would be as good a place as any to start, and sure enough, I decided to finish here.
Why didn't you decide to dorm? Why didn't you decide to dorm here?
I didn't necessarily decide to dorm, not like strictly because of funds. I just wasn't ready to move out, I guess. A lot of people are ready to just go out on, well, now I'm ready, I think, to go out on my own. I want to get out of my house, but I'm still in school, so I'm not going to get out of my house while I'm trying to still juggle school. But it was mainly, I would just, like I said, I was not prepared to leave yet. I had family matters to attend to. It just was not really the best of times to leave my house, and the funds was just another thing stacked on top of that. But my dad always said, if you're trying to go away, if you're trying to go dorm, I'll make it work somehow, just like he's making college work for me now, because I'm paying very, very little of my bill because GameStop's payroll doesn't really, it's not that fantastic. I mean, it's your average job. It's helping me a little bit, but it's not nearly enough to cover the whole bill, what I make a year there. So my dad is greatly helping me out there, but I do have GameStop to thank a little bit because, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to help at all. So it's a lot better than the lifeguarding job I had, because the lifeguarding job I had was only 3 months. That was it, and that's definitely not enough to front a college bill. So yeah, I'd say it wasn't necessarily the funds, it was just, other family business, but funds definitely had something to do with it.
Now you said you had something with some family matters. Can you mind going into detail about that a little
I
bit?
figured that would spark questioning. Right before I had gotten out of high school, I think it was like August, actually. I believe it was August of me getting out of high school. It was August going into senior year of high school, and that's when you're really, really looking towards colleges. At least I was. I don't know. A lot of people had it figured out junior year. I guess I waited until last minute my senior year. But right in August, I believe it was, my uncle had actually passed away. And he was going through a divorce at that time. So basically, he, in a sense, left behind 3 daughters. My twin cousins, Deanna and Alita, and then their younger sister, Sierra. And of course, dog Diamond. And basically, my dad was like, there's no way we're going to let them just kind of go out on their own. They had just turned 18. I think the twins had turned 19, I believe, that July, like a month before his death. And I don't remember how old Sierra was at that time. She might have been like 13, 14 or something. But my dad basically determined right then and there that he was going to take them in. They had lived in Philly, now they live in Jersey. And he determined that was the best route to take, because he wanted to make sure that they were still level-headed and they were still focused on their goals that their uncle had them focused on. Deanna wanted to go to college. Alita needed to go to a trade school. She was actually in the midst of going to trade school while Deanna was in some college. I forget the name of it this time. But he took them in. Ciara actually wound up going to the mother. And Alita actually doesn't live with us anymore. She got out of trade school, got a very decent job, and now she's out on her own. But Deanna actually just graduated from Rowan not too long ago, actually last May. So I'll be graduating a year after her if I don't mess up. So I guess that's the extent of the family business. That was just, I didn't want to tack that on top of it. Just like, hey, by the way, I'm trying to move away, so you got to pay double the prices of Rowan while you're trying to pay everybody else's bill. So I wasn't going to do that to him. And plus, I don't know, Rowan worked. So that's...
All right. So getting back to your college studies.
Okay.
So what motivated you to pursue RTF?
The simplest answer is just the high school class I took. In Clearview, we had a very solid media program. I think the only media program that rivaled it, I wouldn't necessarily say the whole state. I'd probably have to do more research of that before I specifically say Clearview was the best film program in the state. But to my knowledge, besides GCIT, there was no competition. We had quality equipment. We had very, very quality teachers. And that just sparked my interest right there. My sophomore year, I started Media 1, and I had my teacher, Mr. Lizio, which basically taught me the ropes. And I kind of always had, I suppose the word would be, an affinity for film, because me and my friends would just make random videos that we thought was hilarious, which looking back aren't that funny, but it's funny to us because we thought it funny and it kind of carried over. Anyway, and it got an affinity for that. And then junior year, I went into Media 2. And then my senior year, I went into television. I think it was TV&P. It was television and production, to where I made a television program that actually went on the local television network. I had a 5-minute slot in my 30-minute classes slot. My class had a 30-minute slot. I had a 5-minute slot. And I did a show called As Seen on TV, which it was a genius idea, because I didn't have to worry about like a set story every time, because the whole purpose of it was random. If I thought of an idea, put it in the show. If I didn't like an idea, take it out of the show. But I never didn't like an idea, because I thought I was hilarious, and I thought my partners, Drew Creedon and Sandy Matuzik, were also equally hilarious. But that, I loved that. That's definitely what sparked my interest to make me look towards what else has that, and Rowan had the RTF, so here I am.
So, going through high school and now into college into RTF, what's your favorite process? What's your favorite part of the production process?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure of that yet, because, like I was saying, with that television I was doing in high school with As Seen on TV, my show, I loved every part of it, because I was working with people that Drew Creedon I knew since 4th grade when I first moved in here, because I actually initially moved from Sicklerville in 4th grade to Sewell. So I met him in 4th grade right when I moved here, and I became very close friends with him in 5th grade. And Sandy I met in 5th grade when I became close friends with Drew, and became very good friends with him in 6th grade. So once we were in high school, we were already close friends for 3 years now by the time I got in the media program. And then by the time television production hit, we were good friends for 6 years, which some people don't even have friends for that long. Friends don't even last that long in high school that much. So I love the pre-production, because we would just sit around, think of ideas, and just laugh for hours, which would take us a very long time, because we would laugh for hours and we would just think of things that we would probably never film. And then I would say production-wise, it was just fun, because the same thing, like the outtakes were endless, because we just had too much fun with it. And then post-production, actually, and quite honestly, I think, if you want an answer to that question, I think post-production right now, because once editing started, quite honestly, Drew and Sandy, they barely edited anything. Not because they were lazy, not by any means. They would always tug my shoulder and say, hey, you want us to help with this? And I'd be like, no. And I would keep editing. I would just keep going. And there was one project that I basically edited all by myself, and they just sat there constantly asking, yo, when are we going to get to edit? And I was like, never get to edit. I just like post-production, specifically editing. Back in high school, you didn't really care about sound that much. Sound was sound was a second thought. But the video and like the continuity editing, to me, post-production is what melded the project all together. If you messed something up and you were able to fix it in post-production, it was one of the greatest feelings you could possibly have, because you fixed it. It was like, congratulations, you are the one that made this project a success. And I was like, yeah. And I don't know, I guess that's why I didn't want them to edit it, because I felt so good about myself and I wanted to keep feeling good about myself. But yeah, right now post-production is probably my favorite, but I don't really mind pre-production. I'm just not a big fan of writing. I'll come up with the idea and then let other people expand upon it and then tell them if that's not really what I had in mind. But I don't know, I don't really enjoy the writing aspect and the production aspect. Like, once you get into the higher levels, it's a little intimidating, but I ain't never scared. Never, not once, except one time because spiders creep me out, but
All
that's,
right, Dante.
yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
And this was a fantastic interview, despite the fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna say, oh, that siren, that's gonna be post production. It's beautiful, but that's gonna be annoying to edit out.
Cut.
How long was that?